What's good? What's good, Raider Nation? Welcome back to another Raiders Unleashed. I'm your host, Raiders Rebel. Today we are talking about the breakdown for the last preseason game between the 49ers and the Las Vegas Raiders. To me, I thought we played much, much better than we did in the previous two preseason games. I thought there was a lot more intensity. Players on defense were flying around to the ball. What's up? What's good? What's good? Thanks for pulling up. Thanks for pulling up. I thought there was definitely some UDFA standouts that are gonna make some concerns, for this roster, definitely because there wasn't very many spots on the roster to begin with. And with the players we drafted, all eight of them I already predicted I thought would make the roster. But now I don't know. That's kind of sketchy. I think there's a couple of UDFA players out there that want that job, and we all know who one of them is. Amari Gainer. Man, the man is an absolute freak of nature. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a crazy season. It's going to be wild with Garner out there, behind center. You never know what you're going to get. Um, you can get a beast out there that throws for 300 yards and two touchdowns, or you can get a guy that throws for two touchdowns, fumbles once, and throws an interception once. So it's all a question of what guard dog are we gonna see. So that's big. Definitely gonna be a wild season. Linebacker position. I think the depth at linebacker is absolutely just scary right now. A lot of people were questioning the linebacker position, with Diablo out there and Masterson and who's going to step up, Eichenberg. But Amari Gainer, bro, if I know it's just a preseason, but he was out there against the starters. He ran the defense. He put guys in position where they needed to be. He looked like a veteran out there. He looked like he'd been in the NFL like 2-3 years to me out there. Playing Mike linebacker is not an easy position. It's like quarterback pretty much. So O line depth's concerning. Yeah. But it's kind of like the quarterback position. You gotta be a leader of men. And Amari Gainer for a UDFA, kind of like kind of like our head coach Antonio Pierce, undrafted free agent, got a chip on his shoulder. You got something to earn. I got a video coming out. I don't know. It'll probably be out tomorrow. Tomorrow before my live Monday night scrutiny. Make sure you turn in for that. But I got a video coming out on Amari Gainer, and break down his plays, his performance. The man was just absolutely outstanding. So they got him at 17 tackles for the preseason, which I don't understand how he only got 17 tackles because he had 6 tackles in the previous two games and he had 13. So that should be 19. Two tackles for a loss, which, man, we definitely need that. Tatted Raider at what's good, what's good. Restricted message. What the hell? Why is your message restricted? I can't stay and watch. I gotta go to work. All right, cool. Appreciate you showing up. I don't know why your other messages were restricted. That's weird. Yeah, not too worried about the defense, but I mean, we still have some holes at the cornerback position. The tackling back there is just weak. The coverage was weak. We didn't see too much Woo Governor. If you missed it, go check it out. The interview with Woo Governor. The kid's got all the tangibles. He's in the playbook. He's a study hog. He learns fast. He's a ball hawk. He's just constantly around the ball. I think he had 10 tackles. Yeah, 10 tackles in the 3 preseason games. But for the time that he was out there, which was very little, tells me that he might already have a spot on this roster just because of, his tenacity and his ball hawking skills. Like, he didn't get no turnovers or cause any turnovers, but he wasn't out there much, like I said. And when he was out there, he was around the ball every single play. So, Raider Ryan, what's good? What's good? Salute, my brother. Thanks for pulling up. But yeah, the kid, Woo Governor, found himself around the ball. Anytime he was out there, he was pretty much in on every tackle. I think he had 8 tackles solo, 2 assisted, so 10 tackles. Not bad for the time he was out there. Jaden Grant, thought played pretty solid. I think for the preseason he had 15 tackles total. That's not bad. He was out there a whole lot, but I also seen him get cooked a couple times. He's got to work on that coverage, man, and willing to tackle. Like that's one thing about Woo Governor is you see Woo Governor, he sticks his nose in there, and he's attacking the ball. He was in on that fumble. I don't think he got credit for it, but he was definitely part of that fumble. Diving in there head first, throwing his arm in there, swatting at the ball. So, we need players like that definitely in the corner position, because if guys get past the defensive line and past the linebackers, you're the last hope, corners and safeties. And if you can't tackle, bro, there's no place for you. That's definitely not the standard here. To me, it's, ill intent, tenacity, physicality, and you got to be willing to stick your head in there and make a tackle. And I've seen a bunch of guys, Byron Young, sidestepping guys, standing around a couple times. His get off, good Lord, the ball snapped, and I swear the guy was standing there for 3 seconds before he even moved. On the double team, he couldn't do nothing. He had stood no chance. So there's definitely some roster spots that are in question, in my opinion. Like Raider Ryan says, Amari Gainer. I don't know why I can't show him on here. I got to go back to the StreamYard. YouTube Live's not as good, bro. I ain't got no shit up here, but I don't know why I can't show. No, saying go to channel. Anyway, yeah. So Amari Gainer, 17 total tackles. Snowden had a sack, had a couple tackles. I thought he played pretty well. Cornell Armstrong, man, I just don't see that guy making the roster. I don't see him making the practice squad either. Like, that's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think. Diablo had 7 tackles. Jaquan Shepard had 10 tackles, 8 solo, 2 assists. I mean, that's pretty good, but I also seen him getting cooked in coverage. So if you're getting cooked out there in coverage, you got to make tackles. So a lot of those tackles, I think, was, just him coming up on the play from behind. Like I said, Jaden Grant, 5 assisted tackles, 10 solo tackles, 15. Muwaga, I thought Muwaga, a lot of people were questioning him. I heard Raider Rundown and Chris were saying, check out their lives. They were talking about Muwaga is roster spot. But yeah, the roster spot is given. He already makes the roster, so he's not taking up a spot. And the man had a blocked punt. I think it was the Minnesota game, or the blocked field goal in the Minnesota game. But he's also had, 8 solo tackles, 2 assisted in 3 games. It's not great, but he wasn't out there a whole lot. So I think our linebackers definitely showed us something. Amari Gainer is just a stud, and it's not if, it's when he starts. I don't see Diablo being able to run sideline to sideline like that. I've seen Diablo horrible in the run game. That's just my opinion. Don't throw eggs or get all pissed off or anything, but I thought when it comes to tackling, that Divine Diablo, just for as big as he is, doesn't look like he wants to hit nobody. Like, if I was that big, I'd be trying to break people's spines. I mean, that's just me. I'm trying to break bones out there, but some people aren't like other people. But when you're that big and that fast, you should be able to get sideline to sideline, and you shouldn't be whiffing on tackles. So look for Amari Gainer to definitely pull up to that spot. If not, number 2 linebacker, he's definitely going to get a lot of grass time. He's going to be in and out in certain packages, especially on run defense. 2 tackles for loss in the backfield, 17 tackles, 12 of them solo. Unfazed, what's good? Billy D, what's good? Thanks for pulling up. Salute. Shout out to y'all. What was y'all thoughts? Let's get to the chat. How's everybody doing? Thanks for pulling up on this Saturday. I appreciate y'all. Y'all could be anywhere else, but you chose to pull up on my live, which means the world to me. I thank y'all for y'all support. Salute. Let me know how y'all felt. Did you think between the first preseason game and the second preseason game and the third preseason game that there was a huge difference like I did? Like, I thought a lot of those guys, second and third string offensive line played a little bit better. I thought Meredith did a decent job. I thought Dalton Wagner, Dalton Wagner's an absolute monster, bro. 6'8", 320 pounds. His footwork's not the greatest, but that can be taught. Technique can be taught. But when it comes to the run game, do you see the man in the run game? Just like in Arkansas, bro. I watched him in Arkansas his whole career. The man is a bulldozer. Like when it comes to the run game, he's pushing people 5-10 yards up the field. He's not getting to the first level. He's getting to the second and third level, but you can't go too far because you're gonna get a penalty. But bro, he was driving people all over the field. Just looked like they was on skates. His strength is just ridiculous. So, a lot of people forget Colton Miller when he first came to the Raiders. He wasn't the greatest. It took him time to develop, to get his technique right, to get his footwork right. So I definitely think Dalton Wagner should make the roster spot because, we need a spot for him. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to have depth, and depth is definitely a key situation right now. Have a good live, Rebel. All right, Raiderette. Salute. Go check out Tatted Raiderette if you ain't already following her channel. She got a Raider channel. She's new to the Raider game, but she's learning slowly. She coming along. What else we got in the chat? What do you think about Carter Bradley? All right. Carter Bradley, I was saying this, and I've been saying this, was definitely going to be the third quarterback if we keep a third quarterback, which I don't think he's going to make a roster spot, unfortunately for him, because I don't see us keeping three quarterbacks. I don't see why we need three quarterbacks. You got Garner out there, and then you got a backup in Aiden. If something happens to them, you can pull them up off the practice squad, put one of them on the IR if it comes to that. So I don't see him making a roster spot, but he's definitely making a practice squad. Like you can't get rid of that kid. But if somebody picks him up off the practice squad, is a whole nother scenario. So he might make a roster spot just because they don't want to lose him. I mean, undrafted free agent came in and balled out. I thought he did very, very well. The first game he handed the ball off, I believe, 8 times, which, is not very great. Hold up, I'm going to pull up his percentage right here. Let's see, passing. So passing, Carter Bradley was 17 for 34 in 3 games. Garner Minshew in 2 games was 16 for 33. And that's our starting quarterback, by the way. Aiden O'Connell, 21 for 29. The cerebral assassin, shining in 2 games. Peterman, 12 for 19. Not bad numbers at all. So, I think it answers a lot of questions. Do we have the greatest quarterback room? No. Is it 30th or 32nd like ESPN and the NFL wants to say it is? Absolutely not. There's no way. Like we do not have the worst quarterback room in the NFL. Like we have 2 starting quarterbacks. They say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. But I call caps on that. Like how could you not have one quarterback if you have 2? I understand that it's going to be a conversation always who's going to be the starter when it's really close. But how can you complain of having 2 guys that can come in and do the exact same thing, manage football games, hold drives, sustain drives, march down the field? Aiden did a great job of that in the preseason and the games he was in. Garner did a pretty decent job too. Yeah, he had, against the Cowboys, a bunch of 3 and outs, which I thought was horrible and didn't suit well for what he was trying to do, make this roster. But Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco and Luke Getsy obviously seen different than I did and a lot of the nation. So Carter Bradley definitely, made a little name for himself. He showed that he can run out of the pocket, throw on the run. He could scramble. He made smart decisions. I think not all the plays are great. I think he had an interception. Did he throw an interception? I don't know why I don't say on these stats. But anyways, yeah, I thought Carter Bradley impressed the shit out of me. I thought for, coming in with the second string, coming in the fourth quarter or whenever he came in, second half, I thought he did a damn good job of controlling the offense, sustaining drives. He looked pretty damn good out there. So is it a quarterback competition? a three-way competition, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. But if you can get that kid, in the next 4, 5, 6 games, there might be. We have a great quarterback coach. We have great coaches around them. They're all very knowledgeable, like I've preached over and over again. We have over 100 years experience on the offensive side coaching, and we have over 100 years experience coaching on the defensive side. And a lot of people seem to overlook that. I know they ranked our coaches 32nd in the NFL, which is, man, I don't even know what to say about that. I can't even laugh because it's really not funny. Like, I understand that interim head coaches do not work out in the NFL. I know Jason Garrett, coached 9 years, 10 years with the Dallas Cowboys, but other than that, 2 years and you're out seems to be the norm. I think there was a couple that made it 3 years, and one guy made it maybe 4 years, I think. But other than that, interim head coaches do not last long in the NFL, and especially interim head coaches with little to no experience. The man was a linebacker coach, was the only position he ever coached in the NFL. They let him go out and look for other jobs, and there was a reason that the Giants were the only team that offered him a job, and it was the linebacker coach. It wasn't even defensive coordinator, I don't believe. So, like, that says a lot for the rest of the NFL, for nobody to inquire. They seen what AP did. They seen how he motivated the team, how he turned the team around. But that's not enough. It has to be X's and O's. And while we're talking about Antonio Pierce, I thought he definitely, like he said in his, everybody get better 1%. AP get better. Patrick Graham get better. Max Crosby get better, if that's even possible. But, everybody can get better. So, I think AP has a little bit of work to do, coaching wise, managing wise, timeout wise, decision wise, knowing the game. Did he know that you can't get a field goal and tie? That there's no ties in preseason? Because I'm not gonna lie, honestly, I had no idea. I never even thought about it because I never really seen a game that came down to somebody making a decision to try and tie in a preseason. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has anybody ever seen anybody try to tie in a preseason? So input from one is Super Bowl winner, the other stayed in the playoffs doesn't count. What? I don't get it. Oh, Super Bowl winner for being a Super Bowl winner? I mean, yeah, he's definitely won a Super Bowl. He was the leader of the defense in that Super Bowl. But, apparently to the critics, that don't mean nothing. So, yeah, I don't really understand where they can put us last. There's a lot of coaching staffs that do not have nowhere near the experience that this coaching staff has. I mean, Phil Bond, there's just the name go on and on. We have Mike Caldwell, who's been a head coach, who's now he's not even our defensive coordinator, bro. He's linebacker coach and defensive control. So having guys like that have been in positions that have led teams, that knows what it's like, I think need to be in Antonio, AP's ear just a little bit more, because you can't take timeouts like he did in this last game. Those timeouts I think could have been managed a little bit better. And you preach physicality, ill intent, and win, just win, baby, right? Why are you trying to tie in a preseason? I know you didn't want to go out with a loss, but we still had a down. Like, we still could have got a first down, or we still could have got a touchdown. I would rather go out losing, knowing that we tried to score, than knowing we kicked a field goal to be the first team to ever kick a field goal to tie in the preseason. I mean, that's just my opinion, right? I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let's get to the chats, see what's going on in here. We're past that. Amari Gainer is a stud. I think AP sees himself in him and will keep him. Amari Gainer made the roster, bro. There's no doubt about it. Like, there's, I could pull up the roster here. I'll pull it up here in a minute. But linebackers, there's not a linebacker on this roster that can run sideline to sideline like that man. that can cover like that man. He was great in coverage. 2 tackles for loss. I think he pressured the quarterback a couple times. You can't teach that. That's instinct, and you can't teach instinct. Like, instinct is a God-given gift, and Amari Burney has that. He showed it in Florida State. You know, for the 3-4 years he was there, and then with the COVID thing or whatever, he goes to North Carolina, and he shows it there also. So the man could play Mike. He could play left, right. It doesn't matter. He can play all, any linebacker position. And if he gets a little bigger and stronger, like, he might even put him at defensive end. I know he's only 226 right now. So you definitely have to get some weight on you. But man, at 6'3", with that speed, I think he runs a 4.6 40. I do believe. So 4.6 40 speed, the ability to make tackles, over and over and over again. He doesn't let guys go by him, which we had a big, huge problem tackling. In the Minnesota game, it was horrible. In the Dallas Cowgirls game, it was even worse. In the San Francisco game, it was bad. I mean, I seen AP just shaking his head a couple times. I don't know what he was writing, but he was probably writing some shit that we don't want to know, because it was bad. I mean, 4, 5, 6 guys whiffing on special teams. We can't have that. You can't be a top 5 defense in the NFL and give up 100 yards a game and 10 missed tackles. Like, that's not going to happen. So I know our first team wasn't out there, and it's going to be a whole nother story. But we're not very deep when it comes to corners or linebackers. I mean, linebackers are deep, but they're all young and inexperienced, and that's going to be hard. Definitely hard if something happens to somebody. So same thing at the corner position. If Jacorian Bennett's not cutting it, or if he starts out like he did last year, start out decent and then fade off, who's going to come in and take that spot? Because I see nobody out there. I see nobody really that stepped up and said, I'll be corner number 2 at all. Like, coverage wise, no. Nobody could cover. Like, tackle wise, they were, okay, coming up and stopping the run. I thought, they weren't very good. A bunch of missed tackles. I thought there was a lot of plays that could have been tackles for loss or no gains, and they just whiffed completely. Byron Young a couple times too, just let guys run right by him, and he's just turning his head watching. So that definitely needs to be cleaned up, but it's preseason, and that's why we have preseason, right? So we can clean it up. But I was definitely excited with, the way the game went, how it turned out. How much defensive time do you think we see maybe with Polamalu? I think Polamalu, I believe the stats were last year, and everybody was saying I was wrong. People always say I'm wrong, but 97% of the snaps, Trayvon Moehrig and Marcus Epps were on the field last year. That's more than Max Crosby. That's the highest on the team. So they played 97% of the snaps last year. Do they play that many snaps this year? I don't know, because Polamalu is coming on strong. But I think Polamalu is going to get a lot more grass time this year, because right now he's got that second nickel spot. So he's backing up Nate Hobbs. And, Nate Hobbs is great when it comes to stopping the run. He's getting better at coverage, but he's not great at coverage. I think Polamalu is just a little bit faster and a little bit better when it comes to man coverage and zone coverage. So I see Polamalu getting a whole lot of grass time. Definitely doubling his numbers from last year. Easily doubling his numbers from last year. What up, Raider Nation? Salute. Welcome. I agree with you, man. Looking forward to week 1. Not sure about quarterback. I mean, look, here's the thing with the quarterback. Everybody knows I was Aiden O'Connell all the way. I was, the cerebral assassin. I nicknamed the kid. The man has all the skills to be a quarterback. There's a lot of people that say he don't, and he'll be nothing but a backup. I'm not going to name names, but we know who says he'll be nothing but a backup. He says it all the time, over and over and over again. And kid, nothing but a backup in the NFL. I strongly disagree. I think he will be a starter. Antonio Pierce said he will be a starter, and he will start games this year, because with 63 starting quarterbacks last year in the NFL, that's a lot of quarterbacks. 32 teams, 63 starting quarterbacks. That's over one That's two per team pretty much. So plus. So with that many quarterbacks going down, I think Aiden's definitely going to come in. And the thing is when he comes in, I don't see him relinquishing the job. Like I don't see him coming in making mistakes. So, I don't see him turning the ball over. I think he did a great job at keeping the ball. But with that being said, Gardner Minshew is our quarterback, and we have to support our quarterback. As a Raider Nation, as a fan base, you have to support your guys, right? Love them, hate them, whatever. But how can you hate Gardner Minshew? Like the dude's charisma is absolutely ridiculous. He's funny as hell. He can make plays. He's mobile. He'll roll out of the pocket. Yeah, he doesn't stay in the pocket when he's supposed to, and he breaks contain. But that's the whole reason for preseason and practice. Like they're working on that. They want him to stay in the pocket. They want him to make plays. I think he gets out of the pocket a lot because he can't see over the offensive line. He's only 6'1". He's not that big. And when you got guys that are 6'8", 6'9", fucking out there in front of you, flipping in front of you. Sorry for the language. I keep forgetting it's daytime. But yeah, when you got guys like that in front of you, you have to roll out of the pocket. So, no matter who the quarterback is, as a fan base, just support your quarterback because the more support, I think the better they're going to be. I think Garner can run this offense. Was it built around Garner? No. I think the offense was pretty much, built for Aiden O'Connell style quarterback. But Aiden didn't take the reins. Antonio Pierce said it was his job to lose. Did he lose the job? In my opinion, absolutely not. I don't think he lost the job. I think they just went with Garner because of the price tag, the experience, and the schedule. I mean, if you look at the schedule coming up, we have the Chargers, one of the top defenses in the NFL. We have the Ravens, maybe the top defense in the NFL. Carolina, their offense is up and coming, but their defense isn't trash. Their defense is pretty damn solid. And then you go and you bring Cleveland in. The Cleveland Browns are one of the top defenses in the NFL also. So in our first 4 games, we have top defenses. Do you want to go with Aiden, who the coordinator and Luke Getsy and AP think are not ready? Or do you go with a veteran who's proven he can take the reins, he can win you some games, he can make some plays, and he gives you the best opportunity to win? So I think that's what they did. They went with the man that's going to give him the best opportunity to win. And I think Garner can win us some games. If he doesn't turn the ball over and he's consistent, I think he's definitely can win us some games. I mean, he's proven he can beat us every time he's played us. So I think Garner will do just fine. But also, you have to realize that if he doesn't do just fine, the AOC mob is going to be calling for Aiden O'Connell, and it's going to be a controversy, and you don't want a controversy. So I think the man has to go out there and play his ass off. Like he said, I have to set the bar that much higher if I take the job. Well, we all know that wasn't the case. He didn't set the bar any higher than anybody else did, and he couldn't beat out a guy that's only started in 10 games. So does he have to set the bar higher? Yes, he has to do better, and I believe he will. Having first reps with the offense consistently is a big, big, big deal. Like you can't constantly go from the first string offense to the second string offense, different receivers, different offensive line. They're plugging guys in on that left side, trying to fill the void for Colton Miller, trying to fill the void for JPJ. And you just can't fill those voids. Like we don't have players on this roster that are the caliber of Colton Miller. And we, in my opinion, we don't have anybody on, with the intensity and that physicality and ill intent that JPJ brings. And we definitely need him back. And it's going to be, a whole nother story with those guys back in the lineup. Will Colton Miller be ready week 1? I don't know. But Antonio Pierce said JPJ, they were holding out and didn't play this preseason for week 1. So if that kid comes in and starts in week 1, man, that shows me a lot and how much faith that they definitely have in this kid for sure. Who else we got? Facts Rebel. So input from one Super Bowl winner. I already read that. Salute Toya. Thanks for pulling up. Appreciate you. If I didn't shout you out already. Tom and Marvin. I mean, yeah, you got Tom Coughlin. You got Marvin Harrison. But it's a new NFL though. It's a new era. You know what I'm saying? Like the NFL that they coached in is not the NFL today. It's a pass heavy league. Running backs are pretty much they think is a dime a dozen. They plug in running backs here and there from anywhere. Um, you have to be quick with the ball. You have to have a mobile quarterback nowadays. In my opinion, yes, I'm saying it. You do need a mobile quarterback because defenses are just so fast. They get to the quarterback, 3-4 seconds. You have to have the ball out. So you definitely have to have somebody that can, break contain if necessary. Minshew struggles to find the open receiver. Scramble drills are tricky. Be the main playbook. Hope it works. See, here's the thing about that. If you're running a play at a 12 personnel and it's a play called for one, for your second read, not always are you going to, even if it's called, the play is called for the third receiver, you're not looking to that third receiver right away. So you have to look at the first option, the second option. You have to go through your progressions. And I don't see that from Gardner Minshew. I don't see him going through his progressions. I see him panicking when he feels the pocket collapsing because I don't think his pocket awareness is great. I think Aiden O'Connell's pocket awareness is better than his. And people are going to call me crazy, but go watch film, bro. He knows when the pocket's collapsing, and he's just not scared. He's standing there and throws the ball. Garner, on the other hand, feels any pressure, and he's out trying to make plays, which, that's not a problem if he runs the ball. Raph, what's good, Raph? Salute, salute. Hey, did you unsubscribe to my channel? If you did, that's messed up, Raph. I'm just saying. Byron Young, Nesta, McCall will just have to clog up their space and channel the works to Wilkins. All right, Unfazed. So, you're saying Byron Young, Nesta, and Marshawn McCall all make this roster? All right. I mean, that might be a hot take right there because I know they don't want to give up on Byron Young because he's young, but man, from all the work he was doing in camp and all this talk they were saying, when they had the 2 weeks off, he stayed and in practice he was working with the trainers. To me, I don't know. I'm not at practice every day. I can't say, but on game film, it didn't show off, man. That I see nothing from that kid to absolutely say this kid has what it takes to be an NFL defensive lineman. Like the get off was, the motor was absolutely slow. He had no motivation. Like when, a couple of times the quarterback ran by him and the man just stopped. Like he didn't even start running. He was like, there's no way I'm catching that guy, and just gave up. So to me, that's not the standard here. And I know that's not the standard AP preaches. Our Tom Telesco. And I definitely know Patrick Graham, that is not his standards. So I don't know. I don't know about Byron Young. I think Nesta, made some plays. He's definitely a body out there, but it depends on how many linemen they go and how many defensive spots do we have to give up to bring in to have another corner, or do we need to bring in another corner, solidify that spot? Because to me, that's the biggest question. Jacorian Bennett, Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones, they got it on lock. But after that, Nate Hobbs' backup is definitely great. You have Palomalo out there. But then after that, who's that guy? Is it going to be Woo Governor? Is it going to be the Camryn Richardson? Is it going to be MJ Davonshire? Because those guys, to me, hold up, let's break it down. Where are the numbers at? They didn't do nothing, and they were out there an awful lot, especially MJ Davonshire and Richardson. So let's see what we got. All right, Richardson played in. He didn't play last game? All right, well, I'll take that back. So the Camryn Richardson has 3 tackles, 1 assist, 4 total. So 3 solo tackles in 2 games. Diablo got 7. Ellerson Smith. I thought Ellerson Smith showed me a lot. That kid's motor is like Max Crosby, bro. He's out there on every single play, chasing down running backs from the other side of the field, chasing down running backs, chasing down the quarterback. Like the man's motor is absolutely beast. D Menace in the building. What's good? Salute. Appreciate you pulling up. No, I'm just saying DT's main jobs is to channel everything through Wilkins and the experience. Oh yeah, I mean Wilkins ain't gonna come off the field. That's another thing that good point. Good point on phase. That's another thing I want to bring up is, Wilkins, Max Crosby, these guys aren't coming off the field, so we don't really have to worry about who the backup defensive end is because they're not going to get more than maybe 10, 12% of the snaps, throughout the season. So they're not going to be out there constantly. Max Crosby is not coming off the field unless he has to. Christian Wilkins probably won't come off the field, unless he has to. Malcolm Kuntz. How much is Malcolm Kuntz going to be on the field? Because when he was on the field last year, he made plays. He was consistently in the backfield. 8 sacks in 10 games. I can't believe I just said I'm sounding like damn Dick Daniels over here rubbing off on me. But yeah, so I think, defensive wise, those guys aren't coming off the field. But when you get to corner, Jack Jones ain't coming off the field. But how much is Jacorian Bennett going to be on the field? Is he going to be on the field the whole game? Are they taking them off in nickel packages? Are they trading guys in? When we run zone, when we run man, it just all depends. So the only way he starts is injury. Toya, who is that? Who are you talking about? Aiden O'Connell? You think that's the only way Aiden O'Connell gets a start? He needs to sit and learn. Look, he sat last year for half a season and was third string quarterback, was thrown into a fire and didn't know nothing. So for him to perform like he did last year, in my book, was just outstanding. Like the kid way outperformed his ability and way outperformed anything that anything that anybody thought he was going to. Like he overexceeded all expectations as a third round, fourth round pick in my opinion. And that's holding a clipboard. So I wanted to see him have a full season. Like he knows the system. It's a new system, yeah, but he looked comfortable in the system to me out there in the preseason game. The man came in, drove us down, scored, came down, drove us down again. Yeah, he threw a costly interception, but he's a rookie. You're going to make mistakes. So that can't happen. You got to clean those up, definitely. But I would like to see him out there. I want to see what he has. We know what Garner has, but we're going to see what Garner has, and hopefully he can sustain drives and not turn the ball over and march us down the field like we need to. But those 3 and outs, bro, they scare me. Like against the Cowboys, those 3 and outs are scary. Like I think Aiden had 1 3 and out, and that was on a second drive. I don't think he had a 3 and out. I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch the tape. Let me know in the chat if you know, did Aiden have any 3 and outs in any of the preseason games? Because I don't think he did, but I know Garner had 3 minimum. New offense. Yeah, but he knows the receivers more than Garner does. He has more timing with the receivers. He has more chemistry with the receivers. And that's big. Timing is huge in the NFL. You have to know receivers' tendencies. You have to know their route tree. You have to know, when they break, everybody runs their route tree different. Everybody has different timing. They might break the route 5 yards and cut, 7 yards and cut, 8 yards and cut. It just depends. And, as a veteran receiver, you're pretty much not making that choice until you see the depth of your defender or where your defender is covering. If he's playing off, is he tight, playing bump and run. So that all comes into play. And I think Aiden's timing with the receivers showed. I think it showed in the practices that I seen. I think it showed in the preseason. And I think Garner's showed a little bit too. He had flashes of brilliance, but hey, it is what it is. Garner's our quarterback. That's who we're going with. Yeah, I don't think he took a lot of deep shots. But the other hand on that is the deep shots that Garner took were underthrown. That ball to Trey Tucker, the biggest pass that he had the whole preseason, the man had to slow down and almost stop. Like he took 2 drag steps and waited for that ball to get there. At least Aiden O'Connell overthrows Trey Tucker. To overthrow a receiver that's a speedster shows you have an arm. Yes, you have to get the timing down, but at least you can get the ball there. At least you can overthrow that guy, and you can wait a little bit longer and not throw it as quick as Garner has to. That's just my opinion. But what up? What we got? Devonshire might not make the team. I really didn't see him do anything that would say he's definitely a roster lock. I mean, depth wise, you might keep him and let Faison go because Brandon Faison, again, just constantly missing practices, not in the games. Is just horrible. Like Brandon Faison has to be on the field in practices to make this roster, and he definitely wasn't on the field at all. Like especially when pads came on, the man didn't get on the field when pads came on. So I don't see Brandon Faison making this team. I don't think his veteran leadership or his play in the past is enough to say this guy's a lock and he's making the roster. He's hurt and they're just they're waiting. They might put him on IR, but I mean it's a good question. Devonshire is going to be tough. I think Woo Governor outplayed Devonshire for an undrafted free agent to come in and have 10 tackles and the amount of games and a little limited time that he played. He outplayed MJ Devonshire, in my opinion. Like, don't you can call me biased because I interviewed Woo Governor, but I really think his knack for the ball, his character, the way he's in the playbook, his knowledge of the game, his knowledge of Patrick Graham's defensive system. Like he already knew the system, just the terminology was different. So I think that the way he's around the ball, it's going to be a battle for that fourth corner spot because Richardson, he's a fourth round pick. You can't do much with that. Fourth rounder, you're not going to come in and start. You're not expected to come in and start, but you should get play time. And you probably should have did a little bit more than what he did in the preseason, in my opinion. In practice, he had some picks, but is that enough to make the roster? Or do they just go get a free agent? There's no free agents out there. Like they waited too long to get a free agent. So unless we trade for somebody, that's pretty much our cornerback backfield. I think it's going to be Jack Jones, Jack Jones, Jacorian Bennett, Nate Hobbs. Palomalo's going to take that nickel spot, and I think Woo Governor and Richardson, I guess 6 is that's my guys to make it. Devonshire, if they decide to go 7 and maybe only keep 3 tight ends, it just depends on how the roster goes or what they plan to do. Yeah, we need to find a backup quarterback to give the starters a breather. Oh, DB. Definitely. Like you can't play a whole entire game. Jack Jones didn't even play the whole entire game when he came in. Nobody's, plays a whole game at corner. Like you have to sub guys out. You have to give them a breather. But if he can play 100% of the snaps, hey, that's great. That's definitely great. But yeah, backup wise, when Jack Jones needs a breather or, Jacorian Bennett needs a breather or if Jacorian's not playing good, who's stepping up? Like we definitely need to see somebody step up. Definitely need to see somebody step up. Coverage wise, I mean, hopefully Raiders down yonder. What's good? Salute. Thanks for pulling up. Coverage wise is just technique has to be worked on, but I have total faith in these coaches. If you hear the players talk, they constantly brag on the defensive back coaches, Gerald Alexander and damn, I don't know why I slipped in my name, but yeah. So our defensive back coaches, man, are definitely on top of it. They're constantly teaching, but you can't teach coverage, man. That's it's something that's a God-given gift, instinct. You have to know where your guy's going to be. You have to be able to feel where your guy's going to be without feeling them. I thought they were very, very handsy. MJ Devonshire and Richardson constantly touching guys. So corners definitely a big question, but at least coming in, can we all agree? Let me know. Type 1 in the chat if you agree. Yes. Type no. 2 in the chat if it's no. If you disagree, can we say that we have a lot less questions coming in to week 1 than we did 2 weeks ago? Let me know. Type 1 for yes, 2 for no. Because in my opinion, I think we definitely know a lot more, going into week 1. We know Colton Miller's coming back. We kind of know who our offensive line is going to be. We kind of know, who the tight ends are going to be. We already knew that, but we know there's going to be a lot more 12 personnel, 13 personnel packages that we don't see, that we don't know of. Also, we have Tyreek McAllister. The man had 112 yards punt returns and 130 something yards or 117 yards on kickoff returns and a touchdown. So our special teams is going to be fire. And we know from last year that our special teams, man, we got a lot of ones. So hey, that's good. That's 1% every day, right? As long as the chat thinks we improved and there's a lot less question marks coming into week one, that's a big upside, right? That's a huge upside. So I think we know where, like I said, offensive line is. Corner is the only question. We really don't know, the backup depth. Unfazed says no. Elaborate, unfazed. Speak your mind, my brother. But I could be wrong. Wait, what do you say? I believe we're screwed if a defensive player goes down. It depends on what position down yonder. I mean, if it's linebacker, I don't think so. I don't think the drop off is very bad. Like, yeah, you have Spillane up here, and then you got the Diablo, but then you got Eichenberg and Masterson and Amari Gainer above all of them, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So, if it's linebacker and somebody gets hurt, I think we're good. If it's MD, then we're screwed either way. Like, that's just no question about it. If MC gets hurt, bro, the season's over. Nobody's gonna take that spot, and nobody can do what he does. But if it's anybody else, I think we're fine. I think we're fine at defensive tackle. I think we're fine at the other defensive end. We got guys that can sub in and out. Snowden played well. I don't know if he'll make the roster. I thought Stone did all right. Again, Ellerson Smith, I'm huge on that dude. I really hope Ellerson Smith makes this roster because the upside is Max Crosby style. In my opinion, the guy's big, he's fast, he don't quit, he never gave up on any play, even if he was beat, or if it was a pass 10 yards down the field, that man was turning and running, trying to catch a receiver that caught a ball 10 yards down the field. So, the fact that he doesn't give up and he's in on every single play, he was constantly around the ball. I think he definitely needs a spot. Quarterback wise, I think if a quarterback gets hurt, I think we're fine. I think if two quarterbacks get hurt, I think we're screwed. But if something was to happen to Garner and Aiden had to come in and step up, I think it's not real. It's not a drop off. I mean, I think it's an upgrade. That's just my opinion. I think Aiden coming in over Gardner would be an upgrade. So I don't, I have to disagree on that. I can't agree with that statement. I think if we get hurt in the corner position, we're definitely jacked. But if safety, I think we're solid on safety. I think, Palomalo can come in and play any one of those positions. And if he can't, Jaden Grant, Chris Smith, I think, those guys played solid. Is their coverage great? No. But their coverage is going to be better when you have a defensive line like Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Coons, and Jenkins or Adam Butler or whoever they decide to mix in and throw in there. The defensive line is going to get way more pressure than the defensive lines did in preseason. That's facts. There's no question about that. This defensive line is going to pressure quarterbacks way more than the defensive line, second string or third string, because Max Crosby said there's four defenses. So they have four defenses. I don't know how they mix it up or how it goes around, but I'm sure Max Crosby is in every one of those but one, every package but one. And I'm sure Christian Wilkins is probably in every package but one. So it just depends on how they mix it up and how they go about it. But, I think defensive end, I think we're good. We have guys that can come in and make plays. If it's for a whole game, that's going to be questionable. If it's for 2 or 3 games, that's definitely questionable. But I think we'll be fine at defensive end. What else we got? Safety. That's pretty much it. I think corner is the only question. That's the only weak link. That's the weakest link. No matter how you slice it, corner is the weakest link. And we showed all throughout the preseason they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't come up, in the box and stop the run. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't cover. So that's definitely scary, and it's definitely something we have to worry about. But we still have 2 weeks, right? We still have 2 weeks to make it to the Chargers. The Chargers defense, man, number 37 out there had 3 or 4 turnovers yesterday. I don't know if y'all watched, but I watch anybody that's playing. If my Raiders aren't playing, that we're playing in the season. So if the Ravens are playing, Carolina. I'm trying to watch all those games because I want to know what we're going up against, and I got to have some shit to talk about, right? So, I thought, God, I hate saying this, but I thought the Chargers defense was really, really scary, bro. They impressed the shit out of me. Their depth is way better than ours, and they might have some corners. Maybe Tom Telesco can pull some strings. I don't know, bro, but maybe we can get some of those defensive backs. I thought their coverage was pretty good. They made Trey Lance look like the quarterback he really is, and we made him look like Patrick Mahomes out there, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Trey Lance looked good as hell against us, but he did not look good against the Chargers. Is the Chargers defense that good, or is ours that bad? Like, let me know in the chats. Is the Chargers defense better than ours? That's cool stuff, Billy Ray. I'm an X-ray tech. You're an X-ray tech? Nice, D Menace. As long as it's not Max or Jones. Yeah, as long as it's not Max Crosby or Jones, I think we can ride the wave for some injuries, for a little bit. I don't know how long, but I definitely think we can ride the wave. I work a lot of women on the warehouse too, man. What? Oh, you work with a lot of women. I thought you said you work a lot of women. I was like, Billy D, pimping. My bad. Anyway, Minshew is above average, 13 in total. Quarterback. Well, I mean, yeah, he's above average. In 5 years, the man has 10,000 yards passing. He has over 3,200 yards. His rookie year, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So the only time he ever was a starter, he had great numbers. 92 point or 90.2 quarterback rating over his career. So yeah, Garner's not trash, dude. By far, he's not. Like, the only thing that scares me as Garner is he won't stay in the pocket and his decision making, bro. Decision making is key in the NFL. You have to have awareness. You have to see guys, and he showed against the Cowgirls. 3 passes should have been pick sixes. I mean, all 3 of those could have been picked and walked into the end zone. He got very, very lucky they weren't. And if one of them was, I could guarantee you pretty much he would not be the starter right now. If one of those went for a touchdown, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Minshew, la 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 la. But I'm married with a kid too, man. I know, Billy. I know. How's work going, Billy? Grinding, making that money. Nice. X-ray tech, D minutes. All right. Water. Nothing. Nothing wrong with looking, right? Babies at work is such a blessing, aka perv life. Shout out to Unfazed. Preseason is not real football. Oh, definitely it's not real football. I mean, our defense had no schemes. They weren't running any kind of stunts. They were not showing any kind of packages. I don't even think we were in a 4-2-5 that I remember, really. And they run a lot of 4-2-5 last year, so they're definitely not showing anything on defense because we know what our defense has. But we do not know if our defense can stop the damn run, bro. We have to stop the run. Like, you can't let people run all over you and be a top 5 defense. You have to be able to stop the run. And even when they were out there, the starters, they didn't stop the run. There was a lot of big gains that I thought should not happen. So being it preseason, real or not real, the fact that's real is you got to stop the run. And that's as real as it gets, bro. Like, you have to be able to stop the run. And we haven't showed we can do that. We haven't showed we can do that last year. Even giving up 15, 16 points a game and being tops in the NFL at everything, our run defense still was horrible. I mean, just look what the Bears did to us with Tyson Badgett and their running game, bro. So, yeah, mobile quarterbacks are our nightmare because we miss tackles. Like, we put ourselves in bad positions. We overrun plays. And, that shit can't happen. You have to tackle. You have to make tackles. And you have to be able to stop the run. Good man. I like the job. Nice, nice. Cool stuff, Ryan. Took me 7 years to finally get a weekend. 7 years to get a weekend. No, to get weekends off. I was like, damn, to get one weekend. I was like, damn, D Menace. I thought I grinded, bro. You grinding. But yeah, what else? What else y'all want to talk about? Any questions? Leave some questions. Talk amongst yourself. Continue to talk amongst yourself. Um, Tyreek McAllister. Let's talk about Tyreek McAllister. Tyreek McAllister is a freak, bro. Did you see the catch he made for the touchdown? Twerking his body completely sideways, turning, spinning the absolute other way, walking into the end zone. I think he brings a whole nother dynamic to this team that we weren't expecting. Like, I know we thought Dylan Labe was going to come in out of the backfield, but nobody expected Dylan Labe, to come in other than third down or get some small third down reps or maybe some passes out of the backfield here and there. But nobody expected the rookie to come out and really get a lot of reps right off the bat. On the other hand, Tyreek McAllister is not a running back, but he ran the ball one time and for 7 yards, which is the best average out of all our running backs. Of course, it was only 1 yard, one time for 7 yards. And they want to play him at receiver and kick returns and punt returns. So he's a lock to make this team for sure. Kick returns and punt returns. But on the receiver side, man, if you are in the backfield, if you can line up Tyreek McAllister in the backfield with Brock Bowers back there at fullback, defenses are not going to know what to do because now you have two dynamic guys with the ball in their hands that can catch out of the backfield that you have to account for, and it's going to be a mismatch because you can't put a linebacker on Tyreek McAllister, bro. He just showed that. Like, that dude's jets is absolutely ridiculous. His awareness, his ability with the ball in the hand. Cool, Kev. Salute. What's so good, my brother? Appreciate you showing up. So Tyreek McAllister just brings a whole nother dimension to this team that a lot of people weren't expecting to have. Like I said, Dylan Labe, I thought was going to be that guy. We already know what Zeus can do. The man was dominant in the couple carries he got out there. Not bad at all, averaging 4.6 yards a carry, which pretty much the same average he had last year. So if that man can continue to average 4.6 yards a carry, bro, the sky is the limit for this team. And I don't see how we don't make the playoffs with a top 10 defense and a guy that's averaging 4 yards a carry on the ground or more. But the fact that you can bring Tyreek McAllister in on plays and line him up in the slot or line him up in the backfield or line him up pretty much anywhere on the field like Brock Bowers just brings a whole nother dimension to this team that people aren't going to expect and they're not going to be able to account for. You see, accountability is a big thing in the NFL, and mixed matches is a big thing in the NFL. You have to provide mixed matches. So 4 Super Bowls incoming. Woo, we got one coming. I don't know when. It's not if. It's when. That's definitely not if, but when. But, you have to create mixed matches in the NFL to get guys open. And when you have guys like we have and Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, and then you bring in Tyreek McAllister or Dylan Labe, out of the backfield or line them up in the slots, it's a mixed match all over the field. And mixed matches is what wins ball games. If you can get a mixed match in every play or every other play, because there's not every play you're going to have a mixed match, but if you can create mixed matchups, as much as possible, you're going to win most of those reps. And when you have a player like Brock Bowers, come on, we've seen in the preseason in a couple catches he got what that man can do, what he's capable of. And this dynamic is this offense is going to be way more dynamic and way more potent than people think. I think 24 points a game, it probably might be our minimum at this point. If this offensive line holds up and we get a solid running game, if we can average 100 yards a game with Minshew back there, not having to throw 30 times a game, bro, I think we're going to dominate a lot of teams. I got a video coming out, of course, break down my roster prediction because I know I said 13-4 before camp started, but that was before we traded quarterbacks and didn't know what the offensive line was going to be. I still think 13-4 is our ceiling, but I think the basement instead of 8. I'm thinking I'm going with ESPN. Like there could be a scenario where we only win 6 games, and I know people are going to hate me and be like you're crazy, but there are some scenarios out there where it definitely could happen. It definitely could. I mean, it's happened to a lot of teams that thought they were going to be playoff teams. 1 or 2 injuries, and the whole season goes sideways. So I'm not putting that shit out there in the air. I'm just saying my expectations were a little high. I didn't think they were, but I'm man enough to say 13-4 is probably crazy with the teams we play. But if the defense can just do like they're supposed to do, and our corners can play like they're supposed to play, I think we can still go 13-4, bro. I still think we can go 13-4. Like if you look at the teams we play, and I'll break it down. Check out the video. It'll be out tomorrow, probably Tuesday, because I got a live tomorrow. So probably Tuesday, the video should be out. But breaking down the teams we played and what their percentage went in. So, you got some games. The worst team we play, I think, is Carolina Panthers. They're projected to win 4 games or 6 games. Then we have a couple teams that are projected to win 6, 7 games. And we have a couple of teams that are projected to win 8, 8.5. We're projected to win 6. But if the projections, are wrong, and we can just win some of these games that we're supposed to, which has been a big, big problem for the Raiders in the past, is winning games we're supposed to win. It seems like we play down to our competition over and over and over again constantly, which I think that's, it's a new era, it's a new culture, and I don't see that shit happening with AP at the helm. So, if we can win those games that we definitely are supposed to win, and we can just squeeze out a couple games that we're not supposed to win, like Cleveland or Baltimore or Tampa Bay, games that teams are projected to win 10 or more games. If we can pull off a couple of those, bro, 13-4 it's not that unrealistic at all. It's not that unrealistic. So there's some things that have to go our way, to make it realistic, but it's not unrealistic at all. How about 32? Boy, yeah, we talked about Tyreek McAllister. The man is an absolute stud, and definitely I think I already predicted he was going to make the roster, last week when he started running those kickoff returns. But coming in and catching balls and scoring touchdowns as a receiver when that's not your position. You were a running back in high school. You were a running back when you came into the NFL. And then you moved to special teams when you went to the Canadian League, and then they bring him in and they want to put him at receiver, which I understand. But why not put him at running back? That's his natural position. The man had 1 carry for 7 yards. That's pretty damn good. So, yeah, Tyreek McAllister definitely has a roster spot, in my opinion. But I also thought Aiden O'Connell definitely had a starting quarterback job spot, and I was wrong there. So I have been wrong before. I think it's been twice now. Just saying. What else we got? Yeah, 13-4. See, Cool Kev agrees with me. Toya agrees with me. Billy D agrees. Yeah, see, so we're in agreement. We're in agreement. Hell yeah. Tatted Raider Red. I remember when I used to walk in the room and see a football game on TV. I hated it. Now I walk in and see if it's the Raiders. That's the only game you watch is the Raiders. But the best way to learn football is to watch all football. Just saying. Just a little quick tip. What else we got to talk about? Shit, we've been on here an hour. That was longer than I thought I was going to be on. I appreciate all y'all for showing love and pulling up. Like, subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, man, hit that subscribe button. I think we reached 600 subs today. Shout out to whoever number 600 was. I'll have to look it up, shout you out in my next one. But we are 400 away from 1,000 and reaching our goal. And watch time hours, man, I think we are close. We are close. So I think it's over 1,000 we need for that too. So share the live, share it with your homies. Go back and watch other videos. Let it play. Watch it when you go to sleep. Maybe I'll put you to sleep. You never know. Just put it on. Let it play in the background. Make sure you play my playlist. I'm just fucking with you. You ain't got time for all that. Only Raiders. Yeah. Well, that's good because it should only be Raiders. It's only one nation. Anything anybody else want to talk about? Who else stood out? Who did you see stand out? That's what I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Who did y'all see besides Tariq McAllister and besides, Amari Gainer that stood out to you that looked like they may, question one of these guys that think they have a roster spot? Is it a guy like Snowden or Stone or Dalton Wagner, who I thought played very solid? Jalen McKenzie. Jalen McKenzie, I thought held up pretty good at the left tackle spot. In my opinion, he wasn't great, but I thought he did. He held his own. He didn't give up any sacks that I remember. He gave up a couple pressures. He was pretty solid on switching off. I thought our offensive line looked way better than they did in the previous two games. I'm not going to lie, but practice makes perfect, as they say, right? Go Raiders and take care, man. Yep. Salute, Billy D. Appreciate you. All right. So tomorrow, 7:00 p.m. Central Time, Raiders scrutiny. We're gonna break down the roster, who's in, who's out. Also, we're gonna talk about Antonio Pierce and the ridiculous 32 ranking for this coaching staff. We're going to bring up a couple stats for the coaching staffs and let you put your opinion out there. Who do you think? What do you think about the ranking? And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this offense and what Luke Getsy is going to bring and how different it's going to look come week one than it did in preseason, because we ran a very, very, very vanilla offense. We didn't run any plays that I think are going to come up in the season at all. So, stay tuned to that. We'll break down the roster, and we will talk about. I guess we won't talk about the Chargers. We'll wait a couple weeks before we talk. 9-8 is the ceiling, bro. Nick, all right, I can't leave now. Elaborate, my guy. 9-8 is our ceiling. Why? I have to know, because last year AP took over in the middle of the season. Our quarterback took over in the middle of the season. Our defense came on in the middle of the season, and we were still 8-9. We brought in Christian Wilkins. We brought in Brock Bowers. We brought in JPJ, Tyreek McAllister, Amari Gainer. Like, you have all these guys that we brought in on this roster, and you think we're only winning one more game? Like, dude, I have to know. I have to know why. Let me know. Tell me why. Tell me why, please. Tell me why. All right, we'll pull up in the next live tomorrow, 7:00 p.m. Central Time, and we break down our roster, who's in, who's out. As always, I appreciate y'all showing up. Like I said, you could be anywhere on the planet, but you choose to spend this hour with Raiders Rebel on Raiders Unleashed, and I appreciate the support and the love. Share it with your Raider friends, dude. Help me grow this channel. I can't grow without you. So, as always, much love. Raiders. We out. Peace.